Intense storms are occurring in portions of our area right now, and another tropical wave moves in tonight. Your forecast across the Caribbean and the Bahamas starts right now.
This is Meteo Mundo.
Okay, welcome back everyone. Rusty back here at Meteo Mundo on this Tuesday. Great to see you. Hope things are going well. Coming up in this video, as you can tell, we have some areas of very intense showers and storms on this Tuesday afternoon. We'll look at those. We also have areas of very intense heat as well. We have another tropical wave that'll be moving into the Lesser Antilles tonight, and we'll deep dive into the discussion of what's going on in the tropics overall in our area for the couple of weeks ahead. As we get this video started, I'd love to hear from you guys. If maybe you've been involved in some of these intense storms or part of that intense heat, let me know in the comments section below. Speaking of the heat, so let me just bring on the actual air temperatures for you right now, and we'll get more into this as we go island by island, but just want to point out that there are more areas today with daytime highs in the low to mid 90s Fahrenheit. Friends, that's 32, 33, and even some spots 34 degrees Celsius. Very stifling heat, but of course that's just one factor. When you factor in the dew point and the relative humidity, you get that feels like temperature. And look at Kingston, Jamaica today, 116 for feels like temperature. It really feels like when you step outside, it's about 46 degrees Celsius. So we'll talk more about that, but we have a lot of triple digit feels like numbers across the area today, and some of those are extremely high. Let's get into where we're actually seeing some showers and storms at the hour. And as I mentioned in yesterday's video, Northwest Bahamas, it's going to be an active pattern for you for the rest of the week, especially from Eleuthera, New Providence, Andros, North Abaco, Grand Bahama, Bimini, and Walker's Key. It is a pretty unusual setup for August. We're not just having the sea breeze storms here in Florida develop in the afternoon and push off into our area. We actually have a weakening frontal boundary that is draped across the central portion of Florida, and the winds aloft are from west to east, and storms are developing and moving in, but they're not waiting until those sea breeze collisions. We got this activity going very early today, and we've had healthy showers and storms across this area the majority of the morning and into the afternoon hours, and that's going to be the pattern. So we could actually see some morning showers and storms for Walker's Key and Grand Bahama and Abaco and Bimini and Andros and New Providence and Eleuthera. Got to also watch out for lightning for the boaters and even some water spout activity. Again, the chance for rain and storms overall in the Northwest Bahamas for the next several days, and we might be talking about pushing this activity into the weekend. It's going to be elevated, and it's not just late afternoon activity. Some of this could happen overnight and even into the morning hours. It'll be more intense and widespread in the afternoon, but again, just a fairly unusual pattern. I can actually put the front on here, the map. So let me bring that on. And again, give me just 1 second here. You can see where the computer is kind of putting this trough line here, this front here, and then just a little bit of a trough line down towards Sarasota. But all of it south is firing up and moving across our area. Now, I also mentioned in yesterday's video that that's about as far south as a lot of the activity is going to go on a daily basis. So we might get an isolated shower storm, Cat Island, Exuma, San Salvador, Rum Key south, but you get down towards the Acklands, again, it's much more isolated in nature, and actually your better rain chance is going to come with some of the tropical waves that'll be traversing the Caribbean. Huge line of storms off the east coast of Florida that could drift into Bermuda a little bit later as well. So a few showers and storms possible in those areas. All right, we're getting a few more storms. Guess what, Jamaica? On the western side of the island again. Take a look at this. Again, your live lightning count here out of Meteo Mundo. You can see those lightning strikes are much more prevalent again. Westmoreland, Hanover parishes, Montego Bay, Savalomar, Negril, Lucy areas, maybe as far east as the Black River area, but it's very, very isolated when you get off of the west coast of the island. Now, I mentioned again how hot it's been. Air temperature today in Jamaica and Kingston, Portmore, Spanish Town, hit 95 degrees. The feels like number was one of the hottest I've seen this entire summer, and at the heat of the day was 116 right there, okay? And you can see that again, 95 degrees with an 81 degree dew point. But friends in Jamaica, how rough was it today? Really rough. Montego Bay's feels like temperature was 107 before the showers tried to set into that area. And you can see that drifted back down to 79. So Montego Bay at least got some showers and storms. You want to talk about some intense heat as well? Same situation for my friends in the Cayman Islands. It's been dry. Little Cayman 108 for a feels like temperature. Cayman Brock. Grand Cayman feels like about 105. Got to get some showers and storms in this area, guys. It's extremely hot. Storms continue to develop across portions of Cuba. And again, before those storms moved in, feels like temperatures were in the triple digits Fahrenheit. We're getting a few storms developing across Hispaniola today, but better chances are on the way for these areas. Santo Domingo towards Port-au-Prince, Haiti, fairly dry towards Punta Cana at the hour. Again, it's very isolated. Then you get into Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, and we don't even have that chance. I'm going to go back onto our visible satellite imagery here, swing back on the infrared too. The easterlies are kicked in. We're going to get more moisture coming back in starting tonight, and rain chances will begin to get higher. But for right now, we're dry in places like San Juan and St. Croix, St. Thomas, St. John, Tortola. Few showers are developing just northeast of Anguilla at the hour. Antigua, Barbuda, Saba, St. Eustatius, St. Martin. This is a sign of things to come. Moisture axis will be moving in tonight. You can clearly see that on the visible satellite imagery. We're losing it as we lose the daylight hours, but you can see the moisture beginning to return to the area. So guess what? Rain chances go up. St. Kitts and Nevis, Montserrat, Guadalupe, Dominica. Let's throw on those feels like temperatures again. These aren't actual air temperatures. These are feels like temperatures, but it hasn't been as bad for today. Now look, say Bart's feels like temperature was over 105, wasn't it? Dominica, just a few showers there. So again, we've had isolated showers across the Lesser Antilles for today. Not a lot, but more coming. Now, these are going to be fast-moving showers, not a ton of rain, but we're going to try and get some. And then a little bit more localized back down towards Trinidad, Port of Spain area. Again, a brief shower possible there. Tobago, Grenada, basically dry. Nueva Esparta, darn hot. Feels like temperature again around 105 or higher. My friends in the ABC Islands, how you guys doing? Again, dry. Curacao feels like temperature approaching 110. But we will see, again, more moisture coming back in. And then we'll talk about these tropical waves in the Atlantic coming up. But very intense lightning through portions of the Bahamas for today, and then back down into Central America as well, especially just kind of hugging the coastline of Costa Rica and Panama. Storms are beginning to come back into Nicaragua and Honduras. Now, my friends in Belize, I mentioned this yesterday's video. It's the same for tonight as well. A lot of the coastal rain is evening and overnight. So Belize City actually had a fair amount of rain during the overnight hours and early this morning, and then now isolated storms are developing and pushing inland towards San Ignacio. Still a few showers toward Dangriga, but San Ignacio right now getting some rain into interior sections, but some of the coast with the best opportunity being during the morning hours and a few scattered showers towards Cancun and Cozumel. So we're going to get into the forecast now, friends. Again, thanks for liking the video. Thank you for subscribing here to Meteo Mundo, sharing this with your family and friends. And again, appreciate all the donations and ways that you can find to help support us here at Meteo Mundo, our memberships, our super thanks, and in the description below as well. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go island by island and look at a rainfall chance. Now, for some areas that have been drier than others, we're going to start to see the rain chances improve a bit. And of course, we can think what's going to be happening as far as that tropical wave coming in. This is going to throw more moisture into the area from east to west. So better rain chances for the Virgin Islands and Puerto Rico and Hispaniola and Jamaica and the Cayman Islands as we move through the week. Some areas that have had some rain, decent rain, like the Lesser Antilles in general, will continue to see chances as well. Let me just make sure I've got everything loaded up the way I want to here, guys. So give me just 1 second. Actually, I tell you what, let's start tonight. Go back to about our current time here. So I want to just show you that for Anguilla, Antigua, Barbuda, St. Kitts and Nevis, Guadalupe, Dominica, South, St. Lucia, Barbados, Grenada, we're going to have the opportunity for some rain to move in this evening, this Tuesday evening, overnight, and then Wednesday. Now, the best chance for rain is not going to stick around forever. It's going to be in and out of here relatively quickly. And again, the rainfall totals aren't going to be extremely high, 25, 50 millimeters, 1 to 2 inches at most, because this is a fast-moving tropical wave. But we can see that moisture coming back in. So that's good news for these areas. So again, tonight, it's not going to be completely dry. Fast-moving showers into tomorrow morning, and they'll continue to redevelop in the afternoon hours of our Wednesday as well. And then as we get into late Wednesday and Thursday, this activity spreads over to places like the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, Hispaniola, Puerto Rico, San Juan, Christiansted, Road Town, Santo Domingo, Santiago de los Caballeros, all with improving rain chances. Now look, it's extremely hot here. The National Weather Service in San Juan has issued a heat advisory for Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands through the end of the week. That is very unusual for them to say, you know what? It's not just 1 or 2 more days. For the rest of the week, we expect there to be heat to cause some problems to you being outdoors in the afternoon. So please be very cautious about spending a lot of extra time outdoors. There's a bit of haze, we've had a bit of Sahara dust, but the humidity levels and those dew points are so high right now that it's just stifling outside. This rain will try and help things out a little bit, but again, before the rain comes or even after, watch out for some of that heat. Now again, this moisture drives its way towards the west, so improving rain chances for other areas that could use it. Our friends in Jamaica would be one of those for sure. Kingston, Mandeville, Maypen, Ocho Rios, Montego Bay. Now, here's the other great thing. Because this is more concentrated tropical moisture coming in, rain chances overall across the island should be higher. Shouldn't just be the central and the western sides of the island. But it's been a while since we've been talking about places like Port Antonio and Kingston and Ocho Rios to have some of the higher rain chances. But rain chances should be elevated here, so look out for that. Cuba's rain chances will just be enhanced by this tropical wave, and our friends in the Cayman Islands will enjoy a better chance for showers and storms. Does that mean everyone's going to get it? Absolutely not. And again, this is just a tropical wave. It is an elongated area of showers and storms that's not going to develop into a disturbance. But it is going to come with some fairly fresh winds, and it is going to come with some good rain chances as well. And eventually, all of this moisture, again, will drive into Central America and portions of the Yucatan. So rain chances here will also remain high. Again, Cuba will remain very wet. Now, an area that's going to be wet, but not directly associated with this tropical wave moving through, is going to be the Northwest Bahamas. You can just see, just look over Central Florida. The rain doesn't really move much. That is that broad, basically drawn out quasi-stationary front, if you want to call it that, where the winds at the mid and the upper levels are running west to east. And this moisture will just develop along that quasi-stationary front, and some of that will drift to the south. Now, if we look at the winds, and let's do that real quick. Let me bring up the wind vectors here. Okay, you notice that the winds are going to mainly be out of the south. And let me bring up these just a little bit bigger. So we're still going to be drawing a lot of moisture in, all right? So we should continue to see showers and storms break out because of that. The drier air should stay up to the north. So really high rain chances for Grand Bahama and New Providence the next several days. And this tropical wave, as I mentioned, is going to come along with some relatively strong easterlies as well. Let me loop up those winds here for you real quick. Purples and pinks will be some winds of over 20 miles an hour. ABC Islands will have some very fresh winds. No kinks in anything, right? We're not going to see anything try and spin up, but we're just going to stay with some pretty strong winds. And even where the winds have been lighter in the Northwest Caribbean, they're going to get a little bit stronger for us here over the next few days. Just nice, fresh, strong easterlies coming in with this wave, okay? Bermuda's winds will shift with that activity coming off of the east coast of Florida. Now, is this a cooling wind in any way? No, all right? But obviously, the trades will continue, and they'll be a little bit stronger as those waves continue to move across our area. So when we look at the rain chance, island by island, it's at least good to have fairly high rain chances just overall across our area, because the heat has continued to be a story. So in the Northwest Bahamas, 60 tomorrow, 70 Thursday, still 60 on Friday. Central and southeast Bahamas, I've even bumped up your rain chance slightly as well. It's not going to be as prominent as the northwest Bahamas, but the chances are there. Turks and Caicos with at least a decent chance. Cuba's rain chances remain high in the localized variety. Cayman Islands, 40% chance tomorrow, Thursday, 30 on Friday. Belize City, and again, for the coastal areas of Belize, a lot of this will actually be overnight and morning rain with more isolated storms redeveloping in the afternoon. That's the pattern through Thursday. Then it's just more isolated on Friday. Cancun and Cozumel, it's a 30% chance. Look, it's not like it's gangbuster rain chances in Jamaica, but at least it's better. 40% chance tomorrow, Thursday, 30% chance on Friday. Here's your hefty rain chances. Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, tomorrow, 70% chance to try and break some of that heat. Still pretty good rain chances Thursday, and then it does nosedive down. And there's a potential that in Puerto Rico and the U.S. and British Virgin Islands, we may not have much rain Friday, Saturday, Sunday. That would be not great to not have a ton of rain in a 3-day period as hot as it's going to be. Please keep that in mind towards the weekend. Bermuda's rain chances, 50% chance tomorrow, 30 Thursday, 20 on Friday. Anguilla, St. Kitts and Nevis, St. Martin, St. Eustatius, those areas, 70% chance tomorrow with that axis of the tropical wave coming through. Still a decent chance Thursday. Spotty showers on Friday, not completely dry by any means. Antigua, Barbuda, 70% chance tomorrow, 60 Thursday, 40 Friday. Decent rain chances Montserrat, Guadeloupe, next few days. They'll tail off, you know, especially down south. Again, a little bit less moisture content overall the farther south that you go. But even St. Lucia, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, 50% chance for our Wednesday. Barbados, 50% chance tomorrow, more isolated Thursday, Friday. Same thing for Grenada. Trinidad and Tobago, just kind of, you know, closer to the mainland there. Still could see a few showers developing off of South America and lifting north. So their rain chances just kind of stay moderate. Suriname and Guyana, about the same situation. Although a few passing showers are possible in Nueva Esparta and the ABC Islands, don't see anything big concentrated, guys. Don't see anything that's going to be exceptional. So you saw the winds earlier. Here's the wave heights with directions. Obviously, things are calming down from time to time, especially in the Atlantic exposed waters. We're going to get a little bit rougher surf and sea. And I want you to nose back down into the Southwest Caribbean as well. From the ABC Islands into the Southwest Caribbean, another wind axis, if you will, that could kick up these sea conditions right here in the 8 to 9 foot range. Okay, it's a fairly isolated area, not horrible for the Lesser Antilles, but again, on the Atlantic side, it's gonna be a little bit fresher winds coming in with that next tropical wave. Now, rainfall totals, as I mentioned in yesterday's video, will be fairly prominent in the Northwest Bahamas, 2, 3, maybe 4 inches of rain. This next tropical wave that's coming through right now, the European model has picked up on a little bit more, and that's that swath of yellow and orange that you see pulling all the way across the Caribbean. So that is where it has the highest moisture content. Again, it's a little bit drier in the Windward Islands compared to the Leeward Islands, portions of the Greater Antilles, and then trying to pull some of that over Jamaica, the Cayman Islands, and then again, eventually back into Central America. And then you get back down to Panama and Costa Rica, and that stuff is really localized and concentrated and pretty darn significant. When we look at the GFS model, just to give you guys another comparison, that of course was the European model that I just showed you. Over the next 5 days here, again, here's your concentration of rain. You know, Nassau, 2.6. Andros are just away from there. You know, we're gonna get some pockets of 4. Now, obviously, is the heaviest rain gonna have to fall on the islands? No, of course not. But you can see what we're talking about here overall, right? And if you average this out, I would say it's 2 to 3 with locally higher amounts. It is a relatively sharp drop-off pretty quickly here. Cat Island and Exuma and Long Island, places like that. Relatively quick drop-off in the rainfall chances as far as any high totals to the south and to the east. Cuba stays relatively high. And again, for the Lesser Antilles in general, farther north, rain chances are better. Very heavy rain here through Panama and Costa Rica. Offshore, maybe 5 or 6 inches. And again, it's easy conversion, guys. 1 inch is 25 millimeters. So 3 to 4 inches is 75 to 100 millimeters of rain. Coastal Belize, just as I was talking about there. Again, much more rain expected compared to inland places like San Ignacio. So now we're going to get into what we're going to be looking at for the next week or two for the tropics here in our area. I do want to mention very quickly that it's very active right now in the Eastern Pacific. It's going gangbusters. We've got one tropical storm right now, two high-end development areas. Some of this could potentially impact Hawaii very late this weekend or early next week. So if you have interests in Hawaii, please keep that in mind. Again, 3 different storms with a possibility there. Let me get back over to the visible satellite imagery here real quick. Now again, we lose the visible satellite imagery. This area right here, I was talking about yesterday. Right here, okay? Let me bring back on the infrared. We did lose a lot of that. It's kind of out there by itself, okay? And so again, there's not a lot in the way of real tropical development expected here for about the next week. We can see that axis of drier air now. We can see that tropical wave coming in, but as far as wrapping anything up, we're looking pretty good. I mentioned that I don't expect development in the next week here in the main development region of the Atlantic, that if these waves were to try and develop, they'd actually probably be a little bit closer to home. But we're not really seeing that in the models as well. Let me do this. I think leading into what I want to show you, let's look at the GFS model. Now I'm going to bring up our vorticity product. As you guys know, I like to show you that, okay? And I'm going to take this all the way out to the beginning of September, all right? And hopefully it's not going to take too long to load up because I loaded it up a little bit earlier, but let's see. Hopefully it'll start coming on. So again, this is spin in the atmosphere. It's not necessarily at the surface, but it is a composite of the lowest levels of the atmosphere. And I like to use this product as an analysis tool for myself. And sometimes I'll show you guys, again, here's a mid-latitude cyclone coming off of Canada that just shows you that spin, okay? Now, obviously for us, we're looking for the counterclockwise spin with our storms down here. And we have some broad signatures picking up, and these are the tropical waves, okay? And that's not a bad thing. We need that rain to cool things off. That's going to give us lift in the atmosphere. We just don't want anything to spin up and get too pronounced. However, I do want you to notice as we get to the beginning of September, we start to see more concentrated areas. And this is the GFS model. We start to see more yellows and oranges, okay? And all signs point to, by about this time next week, we're going to be looking ahead into the very far end of August and very early September for more areas to have to start to monitor. GFS has one in the Gulf of Mexico, but there's more at play to that. And let me show you both big global models. This is the European model, okay? So I started this basically a week from today, and it goes out to the beginning of September. I want you to just notice all of the different areas that it paints on as potential tropical development areas. Now again, this is an ensemble member, so it's not like we would have this many storms, but they're all different plot points from the ensembles that run off the European model. It's quiet through this time next week, but look at all the signals begin to develop here late August, first couple of days of September. Just looks to be a much more active pattern, okay? And so both global models are picking up on that. Now, we're way too early to be talking about, you know, exactly when this would develop and where it would head, but there's just so much more signal for tropical development in the Atlantic, potentially the Caribbean, and even the Gulf of Mexico, okay? That's what the European model looks like through early September, first few days. This is the GFS model. It's very much the same. Again, at the beginning, you see nothing. But then very late August, early September, a lot more of that signal begins to develop on these ensemble members. Remember, there's 51 different ensemble members of the GFS models, okay? So they're picking up different plot points, but it's just more active. It's like getting more cars on the highway, right? So what do I have to say about this? Here's what I say, friends. Let's enjoy this quieter week ahead. And then about this time next week, we'll continue to monitor this situation. In the short term, we need to try and get some rain back in some of these areas as hot as it's been. And hopefully those tropical waves that won't be developing will do that. because down the road, the tropical waves coming off the West African coast look to have a much higher chance to do so. You can follow me across all social media, friends. Great to see a lot of new subscribers and followers on Instagram, TikTok, X, Facebook. If you want to send me a picture or video, it's mymeteomundo@gmail.com. If you have a specific question about the forecast, feel free to drop in the comment section below. I'm happy to answer that. Again, thank you for the support by liking and subscribing to Meteo Mundo. Friends, you have a great rest of your Tuesday. You know I'll see you back tomorrow with the latest right here. Stay with me. Stay with me. Right here at Meteo Mundo. Have a good one, friends.